78 Sports TV here. Salute to the mighty ldbc, Lions Den boxing community. For those who don't know, now you know. Smash the like button, hit the subscribe, also hit the notification bell so be notified when I drop a new video. If you're digging the video, go ahead and share this joint. Forgive the background noise. But I just watched the Pivot Podcast. Excellent interview with Errol Spence Jr. One of the best interviews, possibly the best Errol Spence interview I ever heard. He went real deep into this, talked about a lot of different things. He was open and honest about stuff, about how he was feeling, about the fight, about where he is in his life. And it's always good to see a brother allow himself to keep it 100, you know what I'm saying, in amongst other brothers. You know, I think it's a teaching and learning lesson for other men as well. Earl said a few interesting things. One being that talked about the sacrifices that he had to make this fight. Okay, you know, he said basically that, you know, he wasn't going to let his ego or pride get in the way of his legacy. I thought that was dope to hear. You know what I'm saying? Because he said, like, his Al Heyman and them guys, the suits, they didn't believe that he would. They didn't believe that Terrence Crawford even deserved the stuff he was asking for, and they didn't believe Earl would give those things to Terrence Crawford. So he said that they were shocked when he said, "Yeah, go ahead and give it to him." You know what I mean? Go ahead and give it to him. And Earl says that, you know, this is a legacy fight for him. He said he wants to have HBO Legendary Nights type of fight. Same stuff we were saying pretty much as fans. And he said that he thinks that Terrence Crawford and him are going to bring greatness out of each other. He says that Terrence Crawford brings excitement into his life. Pause. That's what he said, right? He said that when he was trying to fight guys like Ugas and these other guys, he pretty much knew what he was going to do before the fight even happened. He just wasn't up for those fights. And he's been off for a year and a half waiting on Terrence Crawford. He refused to fight anybody other than Terrence Crawford. Now, we all know that the PBC was trying to get him to fight Keith Thurman, right? And Earl refused to do so. So I don't think Errol Spence is getting enough credit for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he went up against his promotional company. He stood up against them like he should, like most fighters should do. When the promoter is trying to get you to do something you don't want to do, trying to fight some guy you don't want to fight, trying to go against what the fans want, he stood his ground and said, "Hey, I'll sit out. You know, I'll sit out until I get the fight I want." And they were able to make it. So I think Earl deserves way more credit than he getting. I know people, some people who are rooting for Bud, the hardcore Bud fans are just, you know, everybody real tense right now. They locked into this fanboy hater stuff right now. But hopefully everything calmed down and everybody can respect each other after the fight. I'm talking about the fans, and I think the fight is going to be fine. But hopefully the fans can get back to some regular boxing after all this is over with next weekend. He talked about his car accident, and he said that that situation forced him to grow up, you know, forced him to have to deal with life after, like his family, preparing his family for his him not being there. You know what I'm saying? So basically, you know, he said he had no will or he had nothing set up, you know, because in the black community, he say it's like taboo to talk about that, which is something I talk about on my Patreon all the time. I just don't understand why brothers and sisters won't just get life insurance. It's something that people act like, you know, oh, we don't want to talk about that. Or let's not talk. Well, you need to talk about it. Because I'm telling you right now, I'm tired of everybody running around here like they balling, and then something happened to you, your family calling them out, taking up a collection to bury you. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, everybody, like, it don't cost you nothing to get you some, at least funeral insurance. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, he said the car accident and everything surrounding that kind of forced him to deal with some issues he wasn't ready to deal with. He said that when he's at home with his family, lately, he's been at home with his family on his ranch. He said, kicking with his girl and his kids. He said because he finds that when he's with his girl and his kids, he's never in trouble. It's only when he's out with his boys where the trouble comes. That's typical. That's true for all of us, really. You know what I mean? When we out with our boys, wilding and hanging out, trouble seems to find you that way. You know what I'm saying? But it's good to see a mature Errol Spence, well-spoken brother. Um, you know, I'm happy for him. I'm happy for him and Terrence Crawford. I'm glad that these two dudes are fighting, and I hope they can find some peace after this fight. I hope it's what Earl wants. I hope it's a legendary fight. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a legendary fight. I want some back and forth action, some ebb and flow. That's what I want. We waited 5 years, so I think the fans deserve one of those type of fights, one of those legendary fights. You know what I mean? Other than that, I don't know if has Crawford been on the Pivot podcast. I'm not sure if he's been on there yet, but I'm sure they might interview him. But Earl is supposed to be going to Vegas, I heard. Going to Vegas to finish up his training, him and Crawford. So they'll both be out there in Vegas getting ready and preparing for next Saturday's clash. And I'm definitely going to order the fight. I'll be looking forward to the fight, you know what I'm saying? And for those of y'all that's going to the fight, y'all be safe out there, man. Don't get too rowdy because, emotions are high on both sides. The Spence fans and Crawford fans, it's like, the emotions are high. So y'all don't mess up this wonderful occasion and this wonderful fight with y'all nonsense, man. Getting out there, getting out of hand. You know what I'm saying? That's the last thing I want to hear is when we all doing our post-fight videos, then, somebody give us some bad news about somebody that got dealt with out there for acting up. So y'all make sure y'all protect yourself and be safe out there in Vegas for the people that's going. You know what I mean? And stay out of trouble. So may the best man win. I got Errol Spence Jr. winning a very close fight. I think it's going to be debatable. It's possible that there's a knockdown or two in this fight. They can go either way. You know what I'm saying? But I got Errol Spence winning 115-113 or 115-112. Something to that. It might even be 114-112. Who knows? But it's going to be separated by like 2 points, I believe. That's my opinion. Y'all let me know what y'all think. 78 Sports TV. Salute to the mighty LDBC. Smash that like button. Hit the subscribe. Turn on your notification bell. We're out of here. Deuces.